like there are enough indicators that actually the economy is pretty strong, and that what we're sort of experiencing is a weird illusory feeling of scarcity, where like
Mm.
things feel more expensive, but gas is actually lower than it's been for the last year and a half. Like, bread is cheaper than it was. It doesn't cost as much for a carton of milk, but it has this feeling of, in taken in totality, disposable income is not as disposable as it used to be.
All right, so this right here pissed me off. And like I like Mark. But the fact that he's trying to say that like there's like it's actually not bad out here and that it's all in our head. Kevin Smith doesn't understand why ticket sales are down. All right. Well, Kevin Smith, famous director slash actor. He's the guy that brought you Clerks, um, all the Jay and Silent Bob movies, Chasing Amy, uh, Dogma, all those movies. He has a podcast called Fat Man Beyond with Mark Bernardin, and they recently were talking on that podcast about the state of the economy, and I these two guys are like Hollywood elites, and they are so disconnected from the average person. Like it's like the recession is now starting to affect them like so many years this late. And I don't know, I'll let the clip speak for itself. Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Uh,
I guess I should be doing this with a therapist, but
I mean, we're here.
yeah, it's true. This is cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like, yeah, there's always a sunrise and there's always a sunset, at least according to that song from Fiddler on the Roof.
Mm.
Um, but even looking at like Billy Joel, right? Like there was nobody bigger than Billy Joel in the 80s. Like that dude was selling out Yankee Stadium, that dude was selling out the Meadowlands, he was selling out Madison Square Garden regularly. And then I think he either figured out that like I don't have any new music and I don't want to just keep doing the same thing, and scarcity became his friend, right? They're like, if I don't tour for a decade, when I do decide to go back out on tour, then I can sell out everything. The thing that he used to do with regularity became a thing he had to enforce scarcity. Otherwise, it would just be Jennifer Lopez canceling the world tour because it turns out nobody really cared that much to spend the $300 per ticket you'd have to spend to go see J-Lo at SoFi or the Forum or wherever. So the kind of the hang back feels like it's a pretty decent strategy of like, you know what, make them miss you a little bit, and then they'll come back when they do.
It's true, and there does, most folks are not like, um, there's doesn't look. I don't know shit about finances, so I can't fucking like speak with any sort of intelligence. But there seems to be a tightening. What is that called? We're not in a recession or anything.
We're not in a recession, because
Yeah.
actually,
All right, so this this clip, specifically, this right here is why I wanted to cover this. These guys are like, oh, there seems to be a tightening of money, but we're not in a recession. So what is that? Like these guys are so disconnected from what's going on in the world. Like they're just now starting to feel the effects of this recession, and like they won't even admit we're in a recession. And I feel like this is because President Biden keeps saying like, "Oh, the economy is stronger than ever. Like unemployment is on an all-time high, like or an all-time low." Like, and these guys believe it. So like they're like, well, if the economy's doing good, why are ticket sales down? Why does it seem like the word he used was a tightening?
all the
Oh, man, to remind us that we should probably do a fucking show. I'm sure it's like
No, I was just gonna say, you know, uh, we have done more advertising in the first quarter of 2024 than we've done in the previous 7 years that Scum and Villainy has been open. Like creating short form content.
You
and
have
posting.
done more advertising.
All right, so just for context for people who don't know who any of these people are, um, Kevin Smith, like I said, he's the famous director. The black guy is Mark Bernardin, and he's the one he's about to say some of the most ridiculous things he's ever said on this podcast. But he's like he used to be a movie reviewer, but now he's actually a TV show writer. Like he's worked on the new He-Man show. I believe he's working on like something involving Star Wars or Star Trek. I can't remember off the top, but like he's also like written for Marvel Comics. Like he's in the industry. And the third white guy is he's kind of like the producer of the podcast. He also owns a bar, and the bar he owns, like these two guys will regularly record their podcast there. But this guy's about to say like how the bar's doing really bad in business this year, like kind of negating what these other two are saying.
Yeah, it's scum and villainy, and we're down almost 30% this year. So it's not, perhaps it is just everybody's tightening their belt a little bit. Things have gotten more expensive. So, you know, again, people aren't coming to my bar as often as they were. You know, if you were coming every month, now you're coming once every 3 or 4 months. So I think it's across the board. It's gotten harder.
Yeah. What do you think that I mean, I know nobody's here to talk about this, but what is that?
I mean, some of it is inflation in that.
Like, I love how like confused Kevin Smith is. Like, he's like, we're not in a recession, so what do you call this? And it's like, he's almost there. He's almost there. But like, yes, Kevin, we are in a recession. Despite what the president is saying, yes, we are in a recession. People are struggling right now. That's why your ticket sales are down. It has nothing to do with a tightening or whatever you're about to say. But like, it's rough out here. And Mark is about to say some crazy stuff right now.
Things are more expensive.
Things are more expensive, aren't they?
You know, but it's inflation is not the only bellwether of a recession, right? They can go hand in hand, but also job growth is high. You know, like there are enough indicators that actually the economy is pretty strong, and that what we're sort of experiencing is a weird, illusory feeling of scarcity, where like things feel more expensive, but gas is actually lower than it's been for the last year and a half. Like, you know, bread is cheaper than it was. It doesn't cost as much for a carton of milk, but it has this feeling of, taken in totality, disposable income is not as disposable as it used to be.
All right, so this right here pissed me off. And like, I like Mark. But the fact that he's trying to say that like there's like it's actually not bad out here and that it's all in our head. And he used the word illusory, like and then he said like it's gas is cheaper than it's been and a carton of milk and bread is cheaper than it's been. Mark, what world are you living in? Like, gas and groceries are on all-time high. Like, my man, things are not cheaper than they've been. It is not in our head. Like, it really is that rough out here. Like, I don't know where you are shopping, man. I don't know where you are getting your gas, man. But like, it is hard out here. And I feel like he says something else that like pissed me off. Let's let him continue.
And so I think that everybody, to your point, across the board, especially in California, where we are still experiencing a relatively Southern California, a dip in employment because the strikes and COVID and all of that stuff hit.
All right, you see how he contradicts himself here? He like started the sentence by saying that unemployment's low and like, you know, the economy is good. But then he says, oh, but here in South California, there's been a dip in employment. So like, which is it, Mark? Is unemployment low or has there been a dip? And like, he meant dip as in like because of the writer's strike and everything, like people were out of work. So like, I don't know. To me, it's like they don't want to admit we're in a recession for whatever reason, because like, I feel like maybe, I don't know if it's for political reasons, like they don't want to sound like they're on the opposite side of Biden or whatever. But like this, I don't like. I don't like any of this. And it's also possible that maybe these guys just don't know. Like they really do live in a Hollywood bubble, and they really do think that like it's all in our head. Like maybe they do. Maybe to them, a 50 cent rise in the cost of bread is unnoticeable. But to the average person, like if bread is 50 cents more, if eggs are 50 cents more, if like, you know, milk is 50 cents more, like it adds up over over all the products. So like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if Mark is I really don't understand if Mark is just this dumb or if he's this unaware or what's going on here. Because he's actually the smart person on this podcast. So, and I really do like him. So I think this is just a bad take.
Entertainment industry really, really hard. And it's yet to recover fully from that sort of 3-shot across the bow, 4 years of suckery.
And if these are the guys that are like writing scripts and stuff for Hollywood, like maybe that's why Hollywood like doesn't understand what the average person wants in entertainment, because like this is just ridiculous. Like you guys need to get out more. You guys need to talk to your fans, or if anything, just pay attention to like the news and stuff.
There's also
this is like for me. It's like, you know, normally I go out and tour flicks, and we got a flick coming out this. Well, the end of the summer, the beginning of the fall, the 4:30 movie. But I don't think like I should tour it. Like it you know, it's
All right, I think we've seen enough of this. Like Kevin, he like likes to tour his movies, so like he'll charge like $50 a seat at a movie theater, but you get to hear him speak afterwards. And yeah, Kevin, you probably shouldn't, because I don't know if people are willing to spend that kind of money on a ticket. All right, let me go check the comments. All right, Kara with a K. I mean, we are in a recession. Everyone is spending their money differently. I genuinely think they are out of touch. They're not popular anymore. Yeah, like, I mean, Mark was never popular. I don't think most people know who he is. But Kevin used to be like the people's champ. Like he used to be popular for being a big nerd. And now he's just so disconnected from the world. Like, and he hasn't made a good movie in so long. Like what has he made recently? He made Clerks 3, which was terrible. And he made Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back 2. I forgot what it was called, but that was horrible too. But yeah, the man has just, I don't know. Oh, it looks like we have some new chatters. SG Sports Talk channel. Hi, how are you? What's up, SG? You arrived just at the end of our third story. I am doing well. Hi, Cuddy Vino. What's going on? I'm doing pretty good. We are about to take a commercial break, and then when we get back, we'll get started with our fourth story.
Introducing the Late Night Show with your host Cuddy Vino. Live streamed every Sunday night at midnight. Search Cuddy Vino on YouTube to catch the first episode.